It is the first day of competition at the 2022 European Championships. The second of their kind after Glasgow in 2018. We arrive in the beautiful city of Munich. Events spread out all across this wonderful green space. But our destination today is the mighty Olympiahalle. It is the European Women's Artistic Gymnastics Championships and the first day of competition. If you are looking to make your name, this is where you come. If you wish to be a legend, start here. This building has seen it all. The greats from years gone by, names that have entered sporting immortality. A half-century of the legacy of those who arrived as unknowns and left as legends. Corbett, et al. Many more. But what of today? Who's the unknown who leaves this evening as a star? Or will it be the established people, the tourist shavers who turn up with experience under their belt and say, hang on a moment, this is my time? We'll find out in due course as the European Women's Artistic Gymnastics Championships begins. Oh, and by the way, there's a long way to go. Subdivision 1 of 4 about to get underway. What have we for you today? The women's all-around final, the first order of business. Qualification as well for the team finals. And we're looking at apparatus final qualification. All of this is combined with the intricate picture of World Championship qualification too, for team competition and for all-around competition. Has that given you enough to contemplate? I suspect so. It's a great pleasure to have your company wherever in the world you're joining the action from, whether you've been watching the sport of gymnastics for years and years, or whether you are discovering it now. My name's Ollie Hockman, and joining me is Blythe Lawrence. And Blythe, dare you make a prediction?
Not at all. It seems fair to say that we are embarking today on a voyage of discovery. A lot of things that aren't clear now are going to be made clear within the next several hours. We haven't seen many of the gymnasts here since the World Championships last year, or even since the Olympic Games, and a lot can change in a year. Gymnasts continue upgrading, they are refining their routines, they are finding the things that work best to increase their scoring potential. So this competition, in many ways, is kind of a reset.
It is a mouth-watering prospect in a beautiful space. And it begins. Women's qualification, the first subdivision, but this is also the
This is the European Women's
proper.
Artistic Gymnastics Championships.
And whenever
Munich
World Championships is on the horizon, the qualification picture at a World Championships becomes even more intricate. Let's hand over to our arena presenter to introduce the runners and riders for this first subdivision.
Welcome our gymnasts!
Beautiful job done in the arena. The sports presentation team have been working tirelessly to make this a real spectacle, to make it the occasion the gymnasts deserve.
Welcome Turkey!
So here is Team Turkey, the first of 7 teams in this opening subdivision.
Sevgi Kayshole, Bengisu Yildiz, Göksu Üçataş Şanlı, Bilge An und Nasli Savranbaşı.
Some well-known figures in the Turkish team, some real veterans like Göksu Üçataş, European Championship medalist, silver medalist no less in 2020. Some new names as well. Now we have the Austrian team.
Jasmin Mader, Charlize Merz und Alisa Merz.
Similar picture for the Austrian team. Veterans like Jasmin Mader, some young gymnasts as well, such as Charlize Merz.
Startgerät der Stufenbarren, starting on uneven bars.
Now, when it comes to experience upon experience, how about the Dutch?
Tisha Vollemann, Sanna Veerman, Naomi Visser, Vera van Poel und Shadi van Oorschot.
This is a strong Dutch team. We'll be pointing at them on the podium later on. They've got to get to the team final first. Only 8 will make it. But some very experienced competitors in the Dutch ranks.
Welcome, Croatia.
Now for Croatia, team finalists in 2020.
Petra Furac, Sara Šulekević, Nika Kukuljan-Vreta, Tishana Korent, Anna Derek.
This is a team with some very well-known names in there. Tiana Korent, for example, Anna Jerek.
Starting on
We also have youngsters like Sara Šulekević.
Schwebebalken.
Very much the youngest team in this first subdivision.
Herzlich willkommen, Lettland.
The Latvians.
Arina Olenova, Anna Lotzmele, Anastasia Anadaljeva, Darja Elbe und Jelena Melke.
All teenagers in the Latvian team. Chance for them to really make a name for themselves here.
Und jetzt wird's laut in der Olympiade.
Some splendid noise for the host nation. A very experienced team, one of the most experienced teams in the entire competition. Can they? Could they? It would be a fairy tale. The brilliant Kim Bui departing at the conclusion of this competition.
Und Elisabeth Seitz.
Their sights set on gold, the German team. Veterans,
Starting
a
on
large
floor.
majority of them.
Startgerät Boden.
Your final contenders, Slovakia in this first
Welcome,
subdivision.
Slovakia. Herzlich willkommen in die Slowakei. Jelena Ujakova, Radoslava Kalamarova, Sara Somanova, Adela Balcova und Barbora Mokoshova.
Slovakia boasting in Barbara Mokoshova, a medalist at the European Championships in 2020 on the uneven bars. The rest of the team are relatively inexperienced, with Radoslava Kalamarova, the second oldest, the others 16 and 17 respectively. Well, and that's just the first subdivision live. There's one of the most experienced of all we just saw a moment ago. Göksu Tashan, the silver medalist on floor in 2020. We're looking at the Croatian team, or we were just a moment ago. Latvia, part of this. Germany, the host nation, represented. Kim Bui, a legend of the sport, who will step away from the competition floor for the last time when the Munich 2022 is done. But let's not get too sentimental. We're just getting underway. Now, that's the Parade of Stars live. What are we actually watching for here in this first subdivision? Let's remind ourselves.
Well, why not the Netherlands and Germany? The host nation, of course, here to make a big statement in this historic Olympic Hall. The Netherlands also, they are coming off an Olympic team appearance. They finished 11th, I believe, in the qualification in Tokyo, and they have brought a very experienced team, and Germany, of course, experienced as well. They want to give Kim Bui a great send-off, and they're very well positioned to do so.
One of the most enjoyable things as the warm-ups now are underway is that we speculate, and that is itself great fun and great entertainment. I'm sure all of you watching at home have been doing exactly that, watching the podium training videos on social media, getting yourself excited about what we might see. And then we have to be prepared, don't we, to just discard all of that once the competition actually begins. There is, it's always important to say, margin for error in team qualification that doesn't exist in the final.
Certainly, this is the team qualification, what they call a 5-4-3 format. 5 gymnasts on each team. 4 gymnasts will go up on each apparatus, and 3 scores will count. So there is some leeway for the teams to drop a score if there's an exercise that doesn't go the way that the gymnast is hoping it will.
Some teams, for example, Croatia, they don't have quite as much leeway on uneven bars as everyone else. They're only entering 3 gymnasts for that particular apparatus. We will see later on teams that just have a squad of 4, but for the most part, there will be that opportunity, that luxury of discarding a score.
But of course, that won't be the case in the team final. It will mean 3 up, 3 compete. So that extra layer of pressure will be there in 2 days' time.
We are a matter of moments away from beginning the competition, the much anticipated European Championships of Artistic Gymnastics. The men's competition takes place next week. It follows an identical format to the women's. It begins with this mammoth day of qualification on Thursday of next week. We now have 3 days with a break tomorrow of glorious entertainment in women's artistic gymnastics. Looking here at Arina Oljenova of Latvia. An 18-year-old competing at her 3rd European Championships.
The unintentional dismount that will cost her a full mark in deduction. It looked like she was not far off on that backhand spring layout step out. That, of course, is the nature of balance beam. When you are just a little bit imprecise, it's so easy to come off.
Got a silver medalist on this piece at the Latvian Championships. Took place in Riga earlier this year. She's been put up first on this apparatus for a very good reason. She's a proven performer domestically. About that display from Arina Oljenova, very sound. Regrettably, 2 times she came off the apparatus, her reaction rather telling.
It's a lot to ask to lead off your team on balance beam in one of the biggest international competitions. It started very well. This amount we're going to see quite a lot. The back dive to chest stand, called a candle colloquially. The free walkover or front aerial. And just her shoulders are not in line with the balance beam. And when that happens on that kind of element, it's very hard to save. Rather simple punch front layout, dismount, no problems there.
Oljenova of Latvia She's one of the gymnasts who'll be attempting all 4 pieces. We'll come back to bring you her score in a short while. This is the team from Slovakia that is on the floor in their first rotation. Having a look at, well, it is not Russia, I believe. Should be Radoslava Kalamarova. You see. Slovakian team really led by Makoshova, the bronze medalist on the uneven bars in Bratislava. Well, this, we do have confirmation, as expected, it is Radoslava Kalamarova. Continue the score for Elena Ushakova before was 11.
6 points, 9.46. Elena Ushakova, 11,0 Punkte für die Boden. Nächste Turnerin am Boden für die Slowakei, Radoslava Kalamarova.
Well, apologies for the lack of any gymnastics and the lack of any scores, but we will hopefully bring you some routines during the course of the day, considering that we do have 7 teams and 17 all-around competitors in this first subdivision. I hope you're enjoying the European Championships sitting on a chair, which is what we appear to be watching at the moment. So once again, this is the first subdivision. So we have 4 in total to come to go. We have confirmation of the 9.466 score for Arina Olyenova. Now the performance of Radoslava Kalamarova of Slovakia on floor. The performance of Radoslava Kalamarova of Slovakia, 23-year-old. She's come back from a rather serious knee injury lately. It's a great pleasure that we have her back in international competition. She's done so well.
Nice to see her tumbling again. She opens up with a double pike, slightly under-rotated. Note the chest towards the floor on the landing. And we go to the Netherlands on the uneven bars. This is Naomi Visser, and this has the potential to be one of the big routines of the European Championships. So far in this qualification, it's been a mixed bag for the Dutch on the uneven bars, but this was excellent.
Terrific display from Naomi Visser, the 20-year-old. She won an uneven bar silver medal in her World Cup debut in Baku earlier this year. Gymnastics was 5th in the all-around competition at the last World Championships.
And that was something of a surprise. It was great to see her emerge in Kitakyushu, Japan, as a potential leader of the Dutch team and a big score. And part of the reason is because of elements like that, the full twisting, double tuck, dismount, so solid.
We'll keep you updated on the progress of the Dutch on the uneven bars. Important that from Naomi Visser. Tisha Volleman and Sanna Veerman have already performed. Meanwhile, Turkey are competing on vault. We have Latvia, as we saw earlier, on the balance beam, Slovakia on the floor.
For Naomi Visser, a place in the uneven bars final certainly envisageable. And why not the all-around as well?
Well, one of the things we've learned about Naomi Visser over the years is that it almost doesn't matter how she gets into the final as she scores 14.266 on the uneven bars. Yes, it doesn't matter how she gets in because she always seems to step up massively once she's in the final proper. Now to Vera van Poel.
The most experienced gymnast on this Dutch team, two-time Olympian.
And yet, fascinatingly, her first European Championship since 2018 when she won a team bronze medal in Glasgow at the Hydro Arena in the first European multi-sport championships. 28-year-old, a splendidly experienced athlete. Here she goes.
Top change to immediate Jaeger, handles that very well. Toe on Kacha, Ray. There's the Maloney transition into a very nice bail. Judges want to see that as close to the handstand position, 12 o'clock, as possible. Little hop full to Kacha. Winding up, just a simple double tuck, but well done, solid routine.
That ought to do the trick. The Dutch may be settling now on the uneven bars. A reminder that one score can be discarded.
This is a routine that in many ways looked quite safe. She didn't attempt some of the more intricate combinations, but everything she did was quite solid. And sometimes that's the strategy you play. Get in, get out without a fall.
In that sense, mission accomplished. This is the last performance for the Dutch in this first rotation. Croatia will be next to go on the uneven bar. They only have 3 gymnasts to compete on that apparatus due to the rather specialist nature of the Croatian team and their particular strengths, so it does slightly increase the pressure on the three gymnasts who will be taken to uneven bars. The subject of pressure, we head back to the balance beam and to this young group of gymnasts from Latvia. We'll caveat everything we see from the Latvian gymnasts with a reminder of their lack of experience. Daria Elbe is next to go. It's a big occasion.
Nice start with the double turn in wolf or Cossack position. It's an element we have seen an awful lot of in the last 5 or so years, so much so that the technical committee that sets the rules of gymnastics has actually mandated that you can only do one of them in a routine on beam or floor. Unfortunately, doesn't get her shoulders over the beam the way that she would like on the side aerial, and does do an unintentional dismount.
Latvia so far have got scores in the single figures on the balance beam, and it's proving to be rather tricky. We're just seeing confirmation of the previous score for Anastasia Ananieva. This is Daria Elbe.
We talk about inexperience and what that can translate to up on the balance beam. Coming off on a wolf jump, I guarantee you that's not something she misses in practice very much, but it can be a whole different feeling to be up on a stage like this.
Very fine young gymnast, Daria Elbe. She's based in the lovely city of Liepaja. Tough opening really for the Latvians. Difficult for the most inexperienced team to begin on balance beam, giving everything they have.
This is a routine with a lot of potential. Just not her day. See how far off she is. It's a dismount side aerial or brawny with a half turn. So she ends facing away from the balance beam.
Die Einzelgeräte, wie kann man sich denn für die jeweiligen Finals qualifizieren?
We're waiting on a score for Vera Van Pol. Performance of the uneven bars, which we saw just a moment or two ago. Quiet on the floor, with Slovakia having finished their rotation. They're in a group on their own, no second team to go onto the floor. Now we'll be seeing Germany on the balance beam. It will be the gymnasts from Austria who are vaulting. Croatia will be taking to the uneven bars. Just to give you a little update on the state of play with Turkey, their strongest score on vault was posted by Bilge Tarhan, 12.749. And that is no great surprise. You'd expect Bilge Tarhan to be a leading vault performer for the Turkish team. She was the national champion on that apparatus last year. They had two gymnasts attempt vault qualification, the other Bengüsü Yildiz, who made the vault final at the recent Mediterranean Games. A lot of attention will be focused on the host nation.
Yes, indeed, and a lot of attention will be focused on the gymnast warming up on the balance beam right now. Paulina Schaefer-Betz, the world champion on this apparatus from 2017. She has a spectacular element all her own that we will hopefully be able to see.
It never gets old, does it? I don't know how many times you and I and many of you as gymnastics fans have seen that element. I still don't know how it's possible. I've watched it, it doesn't make sense. It is glorious to see, and I don't think we'll ever get tired of it gymnastically. Emma Malewski of Germany, the 18-year-old, based in Chemnitz, but she's from Hamburg originally. And she competed at the Junior European Championships in 2018 at the Hydro Arena in Glasgow. This is her second Senior European Championships, and she was a medalist on beam at the National Championships.
Trial by fire for the newcomer at the European Championships in Munich. And so far, so good. Round off, layout, step out, mount, side aerial, layout, step out, flight series. Lovely. Wonderful Humphrey turn, the Wolf triple. So hard to do, and didn't she just make that look easy? Just the dismount, and we have an occasion handler.
Well, Emma Malewski, that is a job excellently done. With the rather specialist nature of the German team, the likes of Seitz and Schäfer-Betz, a gymnast like Malewski has a lot on her shoulders in terms of an all-around performance, and that's a fine opening.
She was given the responsibility to lead out the host nation at their European Championships on the balance beam, and she did beautifully. Front aerial, small wobble, she'll lose maybe 1/10 of a point in execution, no big deal. The rest of it was fabulous. This dismount, fairly simple, round off to full twist. But like we said with Farah Van Poel on uneven bars, she got in, she got through, she was clean. They'll be very pleased with that.
Austria fault at the moment. Performance from Selina Kickinger, the 20-year-old from Innsbruck. Another gymnast about whom we have to feel so thrilled to see her back after a rotten 2020 with very bad injury. She had ligament damage, and it's just delightful she's made it to this competition.
She's been so pleased to be able to tumble and vault again. This Yurchenko full, very clean, small hop on the landing, slightly piked in the second flight, but otherwise a solid performance.
And so we head to the balance beam, and Germany's Kim Bui, the 33-year-old, competing at her 10th and final European Championships. That's how you start.
Layout, step out, very secure. Over the years, if Kim Bui has had a nervous apparatus, balance beam has been it. But so far, there have been no problems whatsoever in this routine. She really got the huge difficulty out of the way with the round off layout step out mount. And then the acro series, a requirement for gymnasts on beam. They have to show at least 2 elements connected with flight. A jump 1.5 turn. It might look simple, but when you are 4 feet up in the air, it's really not.
that isn't a crowd-pleasing display, I don't know what is. And not just if you're German too, because Kim Bui is one of the most popular and respected gymnasts out there. If you don't know about her life outside of gymnastics, we'll talk further about that. It is every bit as exemplary, if not more so, than her illustrious career. But let's indulge in this super start.
This was tremendous from start to finish. She's come into this competition really well prepared. Everything about this routine was so secure. Close up of the feet on the jump 1.5 turn. And the dismount gainer in the layout position with a full twist. Again, something that is deceptively difficult because of the counter rotation.
Wo sie sich auch leicht verletzt hat an der Einzelsäule, haben wir jetzt tatsächlich nicht mehr gemerkt.
All too well the big occasion in Germany. She's competed at World Championships in this country.
Damit kannst du richtig zufrieden sein.
She made her debut at the European Championships, I believe, back in 2006.
Nochmal von uns hier oben ganz viel Erfolg noch. Und jetzt drücken wir schon mal die Daumen für Sarah. Die steht schon
What a
bereit.
career, but let's not start to eulogising yet. There's a long way still to go, and as she said herself, not over until it's over. Only after my last exercise in Munich will I put the leotard back in the closet. Fascinating. The score comes in of 12.833 for Kim Bui. We've had very contrasting gymnasts on the balance beam. The youngster, Levski, who scored 13.5. That just gives you a sense of the all-around picture as well at the moment. After one performance, that's the indication of one of the 4 dots lit up by the gymnast. All of these graphics will make themselves very clear to you as we grapple with the sheer amount of different competitions that we have to follow today. The women's all-around final, the team qualification, and apparatus qualification. Now, Nika Kukuljan-Fleta of Croatia, 16-year-old. Junior national champion on the uneven bars last year.
Very nice so far. She has a beautiful line and toe point. That, unfortunately, is going to be a problem. And one reason is because she did not get either of her hands around the bar before she fell, so she's going to receive a deduction of a full mark for the fall. She's also not going to get the difficulty that she would have gotten for that Jaeger because both hands did not grasp the bar. So it's no surprise to see her repeat the element this way. At least she's going to get the difficulty for it.
Very promising young athlete, Nika Kukuljan-Fleta, gymnast of limited international experience.
Just a very simple dismount, layout, flyaway.
She was awarded a scholarship by the Marin Cilic Foundation at the start of the year. 20 scholarships awarded annually to athletes and musicians in the country. She's done exceptionally well to receive the accolade. Her score 10.166. Sometimes it really boosts a young athlete's confidence to be given a prestigious scholarship of some description. Of course, it's not just that. Financially, it really makes a difference to their ability to train, to travel to competitions.
And to be selected for something like that, it is a prestigious honor. It's validation that someone believes in you and wants you to do well. That can help too.
It's a splendid space, isn't it? The Olympia Halle in Munich. They've done a very interesting thing in the centre, the rotating presentation area for the gymnasts. It's a very nice way of literally giving them centre stage in this vast space. The action continuing on the balance beam, and a gymnast that everybody will be focusing on this piece, not simply because she's German, not simply because of their excitement in the team and all-around competition, but because it is Pauline Schaefer-Betz, a gymnast who won the World Championship title in 2017. She took a silver medal last year in Kitakyushu, a bronze medal in 2015. She has full colours on this piece at World Championship level. She's a two-time Olympian. She is one of the very finest. And she's only done 3 balance beam competitions this year and has won them all. Of her 6th European Championships. Just to tell you that Emma Malewski scored 13.5. Boy 12.833. Sarah Voss 12.266. So that is the state of play for Germany so far. Ready now for Pauline Schaefer-Betz.
Nice mount combination, a switch leap onto the balance beam, connected to another switch leap immediately. Did a very good job to save that switch ring. She could easily have come off, but not Pauline Schaefer-Betz, not on this occasion. Once again, a good save. She is fighting here.
No issues with that. That's her own.
One thing the judges do like to see on balance beam are changes of tempo. There's part of this routine that has a softness to it, in addition to all of this incredible acrobatics.
Other gymnasts were glued to that display. Those that competed on other pieces that were done, they were stopped and staring at one of the greats. Oh yes! They can certainly make a lot of noise in this place for Pauline Schaefer-Betz. And as you pointed out during that display, Blythe, this is a gymnast who is not thrown by small problems on the apparatus. Things that become large problems for less experienced competitors, she clamps down on. You can almost see this moment where she goes, no, enough, and stops and steadies herself and minimises her deductions.
It was decisive in that way, and other gymnasts would have come off on those 2 moments where she really had to bend at the waist to save things, but not her. It started out very well. It was really the interior of the routine where the 2 problems occurred. That handspring, the layout, step out, no issue there. But the switch ring, however, that was problematic. But this dismount, gainer layout, stuck hold.
for Paulina Schäfer-Betz. Gymnastics is not focused on the all-around picture, but simply on the team and the balance beam. She'll also be undertaking a floor routine. How the crowd would love to see her in the final. The score is 13.166. Penalty as well for running over.
166 points.
Second strongest we've seen so far. That performance by Malewski, 13.5. What a great display from the 18-year-old from Hamburg.
We've still got a long way to go, but that performance by Malewski, just like you say, Ollie, that might be one of the exercises of the day. You talked at the top of the broadcast, didn't you, about who is going to make a name for themselves at this competition. And with that routine, well, she's well on her way, isn't she?
And we are well on our way too. This is the second rotation. We have, my maths are correct, a further 8 million rotations to come today in total. There are 4 subdivisions. Busy day of gymnastics action here in Munich. And it's great to have your company as well. Whatever time of day or night, I suspect there are many of you watching for whom it is a most unsociable hour to be enjoying gymnastics, but any time of day is a good time to enjoy this wonderful sport, isn't it? On the uneven bars, we have the team from Turkey, and they will be sporting Nazli Savrambashi. Savrambashi will be the only gymnast in the Turkish team doing only one piece. Now we move to the Netherlands and Vera van Pol. The Dutch got their campaign underway on the uneven bars. They now move to the balance beam.
Deductions on balance beam is to kind of categorize them into small, medium, and large execution deductions. A huge wobble might receive 0.5 of a point off what she showed at the end of her flight series there. That will be 0.1 or maybe 0.3. Element, the Kachikova, or full twisting back handspring. There's a lot of variety in the Dutch work on balance beam. Right up 2.5, tremendous landing.
Strong work from Vera van Pol, the veteran competitor in the Dutch team. 28-year-old who has been an all-around national champion on 3 occasions.
She really wasn't afraid to go for a variety of hard things. Sometimes on balance beam, when you get into trouble, is where you try to be too controlling, and she just let things happen. That revolver there, full twisting back handspring swing down. And as she warmed up a double full, did a little jump half turn to indicate that in the competition she'd do a 2.5, and that is exactly what she did, and that's how you do that dismount.
All of these teams as well, the spectre of World Championship qualification is looming near the top. Baker's dozen will make it through to the World Championships. 13 teams, 23 for the all-around qualification process for the World Championship. That's decided today. That's 23, not including gymnasts from those teams. So time to
and the finals.
Get your master's degrees in calculus completed to work out all of that. There could be a complication with host nation places as well. Great Britain will be competing later today in the team qualifications. 12.5 is the score. 12.8 on the uneven balance. That's where she is in the balance beam qualification process so far. Really, the key number we're looking at there is Malevsky at the top. There's already quite a bit of daylight. Latvia competing on floor. This young team having now made their way beyond the balance beam. Top score for the Latvians on balance beam is 9.466. It was from Marina Olyenova. Anastasia Ananyeva is the next gymnast to compete on the floor. Reigning national champion on the floor. The title in Riga in March. Had a very good national championship. She won the balance beam and the uneven bars title as well. And if you've ever had the pleasure of going to Riga, you will know it is truly a spectacular city. Beautiful old town in the centre. So what a nice chance to see a national champion, the young Latvian Anastasia Ananyeva. Latvia, Anastasia Ananyeva, the 16-year-old national champion on floor.
I think the word that we can use with this exercise is potential. It's a shame about what happened on the first tumbling pass, the double tuck. It's not that she can't do the element, it's that she really tried to minimize any potential landing deductions, and so under-rotated it just a bit, had to put her hands down.
From there, it became a promising display.
Very much so. The best floor exercises really transport you to another place, make you think that you're watching performance art. And the lovely choice of music, the choreography, there's a daintiness to the way that she presents these dance elements. And some of the tumbling. It's very nice indeed.
Now we go back to the balance beam where the Dutch are performing. Naomi Visser, gymnast from Papendrecht, who performed so tremendously in Kitakyushu, and what a start here with 14.266 on the uneven bars.
Switch leap, tried to connect it to the side. Sami, it's questionable whether the judges are going to give her that connection. She did have a fairly lengthy pause between the two. Well, so far, compared to the routine that she did at the European Championships in qualification on balance beam last year, this is a thorough improvement. Tumbles down the beam, round off back handspring, 2.5. Terrific way to finish.
Well, it's a good start, this, for Naomi Visser. Why should we be surprised? If you make the top 5 in the all-around competition at a World Championships, you clearly are one of the greatest. In the current crop of gymnasts, she is somebody to watch.
Slightly overcooks the double turn, but it's not a big problem. Again, when you think about the deductions that you can get on beam, that's not going to factor in really. This was the highlight of the routine. 3 elements connected, going all the way down the beam, ending off with that really nice 2.5.
She's been in form as well, a very good national championships. I think it's fair to say, isn't it, that a lot of people suddenly started really looking at Naomi Visser after Kitakyushu, after the top 5 finish at the World Championship. She was almost a stealth top 5 performer. That moment where so many people went, my goodness, Naomi Visser has just made the top 5 in the all-around, and it was a historic performance for the Dutch national team. The Munich 2022 European Championships underway. This is the first day of gymnastics competition, and you're watching the women's all-around final that is also team qualification, and there are 4 subdivisions to enjoy. 12.233 is the score for Naomi Visser. So that is the average score. This is a new way of looking at the results, and one of the things it's designed to do is to enable you to see comparative performance. If a gymnast has performed maybe one more apparatus than another performer, you can see how the average is progressing, and we'll scrutinise that as we go on. But now it is Tisha Volleman on the balance beam.
Front handspring to front Sami, unusual combination. And a very nice illusion turn. Side Sami. And once again, just a really nice variety of elements from the Dutch on the balance beam. People who were watching the Rio Olympics will, of course, remember the beam routine of Sanne Wevers, a historic gold medal for the Netherlands on that apparatus. And she chose to get a lot of her difficulty through turns. And the reason that turns are so difficult on balance beam is you do take an awful lot of risk when you do them. Sometimes it pays, and sometimes, as in this case, it doesn't.
Tisha Volleman of Netherlands, silver medalist on beam at the National Championships earlier this year.
Was a small problem that she quickly got under control on the round-off back handspring mount onto the balance beam. And to her credit, this is the only place where it went wrong. Once again, the variety of difficulty that she chose was very nice in this routine.
There is the luxury of the discarded score, of course, which one must point out in situations like this. It does not exist in the team final, which takes place on Saturday. But it is a little too early to really start scrutinising the full state of play in terms of all-around qualification, or not all-around qualification, all-around final team qualification and apparatus finals. There's so much still to come. Tisha Volleman, who started with a 13.2 on the uneven bars. Started the year by winning her first colours at the World Cup level in Cottbus. In this very country, most popular World Cup. Very traditional feel, the Cottbus World Cup. A little different, the arena presentation, to here in the Olympia Halle. A touch on the more spectacular side, as you would expect in a space like this. The German team will be competing on floor. We're using, as I'm sure you've worked out by now, the split warm-up format because we have large numbers of gymnasts, 10 or so in each group, split into two teams. It's 11.3 for Tisha Volleman. Just looking over the shoulder from distance at Kim Bui. As Germany take to the floor. Meanwhile, we'll be seeing the gymnast from Croatia. They'll be competing on the balance beam next. Austria are about to take to the uneven bars. Just to give you a little update on the state of play in the second rotation on some key moments. Regrettably for Turkey, Nazli Savrambashi had some difficulties on the uneven bars, scored 10.333. That was actually Turkey's lowest score on the apparatus, and the only performance that we were to expect from Savrambashi, who's a great performer on the uneven bars. She was a World Cup champion in Mersin in 2019. A young veteran, really, Savrambashi. I'm always astonished that she's still only a teenager. So long has she been competing, because she announced herself as a very impressive junior gymnast competing at the Youth Olympic Games. On the subject of people announcing themselves and young gymnasts doing that, 18-year-olds. We now look at Emma Malewski of Germany. Started with a 13.5 on the beam. Now she performs on floor. What a fine start for Emma Malewski of Germany. She is the youngest member of the German team. She has really looked settled, and she's looked like she has flair, style, a real flamboyance as a performer. What an asset to the team.
It was a very conscious decision to have Emma Malewski set the table on balance beam and floor exercise, and it looks like it was a very good decision. This routine was as secure as it was entertaining to watch. Good landing on her double tuck. There'll be a small execution deduction for the hops back, but it will be small. But what you'll remember about this routine is the polish, the amplitude on the leaps like this switch ring, the flexibility.
It's a very memorable start all around for Emma Malewski of Germany. Karina Krull of Austria on the uneven bars. 21-year-old, actually lives and trains in Stuttgart in Germany. And this is her European Championship debut. We wish her the very best for this competition.
Line change to Jaeger. Successful start. Nice Maloney transition to Bale. Toe Stalder clear hip and the toe shoot to high bar.
Well, she's very popular, as I'm sure you can hear in these parts. She competes in the Bundesliga for TSV Berkheim. Great young academic as well. She studied health psychology. She's been very vocal about the importance of body positivity in the sport of gymnastics. She really is a fine member of the team, both on and off the field of play, Karina Krull.
And she will be a huge asset to this Austrian team. They are under new management, as it were. They brought in a new coach last year who has made some positive changes. And like you said, she's been so excited to begin representing Austria.
And it's always nice when a national champion on a piece, which she is on the uneven bars, then comes to European Championship level and delivers the sort of performance that took them to the national crown. started with a 12.566 on vault. Karina Krull, she's one of the 17 gymnasts in this subdivision going for all-around glory. She was a member of the German national team some time ago, but her father is from Austria. Yes, I think she's rather pleased with how this is going. 12.466 for Malevsky. That added to her 13.5 on the balance beam. Strong beginning to her competition, and indeed to hers. Second most experienced member of the team, Yazim Mader of Austria, is the most well-known, I think, to many of you when it comes to competing at World and European Championship level for her country. 11.8 is the score for Krull. She was watching animatedly the performance of Selina Kickinger on the uneven bars, which we will update you on in just a short while. Now we head to the balance beam. Very experienced World Cup performer and two-time Olympian Anna Zherek.
Oh, what a fight to save that back handspring layout, step out. We talk about experience and the difference that it can make. And to watch her do that sequence that came after it, you would think that nothing had happened. And that's a real skill to develop as well on balance beam. When you take a major deduction or a fall, to get back into it, it's a learned skill.
She really has been having such a good season in World Cup competition, Anna Zherek. She's won 18 World Cup medals. She won the gold in Varna, and she's the national champion on balance beam.
And if you could edit out that 5 seconds, we would have somebody who was potentially in the beam final.
12.666. The score for Anna Zherek. Gymnast who will be also performing on floor. Now we head to the German team on floor. She is the reigning German all-around champion, Sarah Voss, silver medalist on floor at the National Championships in June.
One of the leaders of the German team, not just in scoring potential. She serves as the athletes' representative, the voice of the athletes, and often the interlocutor between them and the coaching staff. And very nice tumbling throughout. Opened up with a triple full, rather unusual.
Started with a 12.266 on the balance beam. So we're trying to keep tabs on so much here, and well done to the people in charge of the score graphics for trying to bring it to you with as much clarity as possible. It's an unenviable task, as is trying to simply capture the vast array of performances that we've got across the day. We've got Sarah Voss, a key part of the German team, obviously, but focusing on individual accomplishment with only 2 gymnasts, as is customary from any one nation, able to progress to the apparatus finals. And in the unusual situation here of a qualification competition also being an all-around final, it can sometimes be the way that, or be the case that a team final is also doubling as all-around qualification. It's most interesting for it to be functioning in reverse. As a 12.1 is scored by Sarah Voss, that gives her a 24.366 overall. That has her at the moment as the 8th strongest in all-around qualification. Again, this is the average score. So you can see, for example, Kim Bui in 3rd place has only done 1 performance, but we're trying to keep in more real terms where she is positioned. Now we'll see her on floor, and let's see if that turns into reality. One wants to be sentimental and just say, can we forget about the first bit? Can we start this routine 20 seconds in? Well, judging is not sentimental. Judging is cold, hard and scientific. Well, Kim Bui knows about the beauty of science. She knows about the importance of calculating things correctly. She'll know the score that is going to come in, and it will not be the score she hoped for. But aside from that, she's a wonderful performer on floor.
Aside from the fall on the wolf turn right off the bat, this was a really dynamic, lovely routine. She is so secure and so clean on the landings of all of her tumbling passes, really minimizes any potential landing deductions. 2.5 twist to front pike right there. And just look at her feet, don't move. double pike to end. And once again, essentially a stuck landing.
One of the great misnomers in gymnastics is the separation of elegance and power, the totally misguided idea that one has to be one or t'other, and it's nonsense. Kim Bui is a fine example of that. She's a gymnast who has an elegant, almost effortless style to her work, but underpinning that is pure strength.
Why can't we find elegance and power? Why can't we find elegance and strength? It's exactly as you say, Ollie.
Why is power itself not a form of elegance?
And what a fine routine this is to demonstrate that.
Reigning champion at domestic level on the piece, she scores 12.866. Strongest of her team on the apparatus. So Sarah Voss's 12.1 will be the discarded score for the German team. Now we head to the balance beam. Third rotation about to begin. We're at the halfway point of this first of four subdivisions. And here is one of the great European Championship veterans, Göksu Uçtaşan of Turkey. The first ever Olympian from her country, competed at London in 2012. She had stepped away from the sport. She had her daughter Lena, came back just a matter of 11 months after winning, I should say 11 months after the birth of her child, to win the World Cup title in Mersin on the balance beam. No, it was a floor title actually in Mersin that she won. She said at that point it was the greatest moment of her career. Well, then in Mersin she won the silver medal at the European Championships on floor. German team will vault next. Gymnast we just saw briefly there on the beam, Sevgi Kayasolo. Gymnast from Latvia will be vaulting. Nadia Elbe is the gymnast who will not vault for Latvia. The athlete you saw just warming up there was 17-year-old Elena Melke. Cengiz Yildiz of Turkey, now performing on the balance beam. She was the junior national champion on this piece last year.
A very exciting young prospect for Turkey. Begins with an acrobatic series of 3 elements showing flight. She will be eligible for series bonus because she's doing more than 2. Very steady free walkover into jumps. Oh, that's a shame. She took some risk that she really didn't need to take in doing that full turn with the leg at the head. Makes it quite a lot more difficult than if she had done it in the passe position, like many choose to. That is a requirement on balance beam, however, the 360-degree turn.
But you're quite right, Blythe, in what you say. Gymnasts who they're very excited about at national level. she is regarded as quite a prospect with just cause, not just the balance beam junior national champion last year. She won the all-around title. She's only 15.
And we could harp on the fall, but that's pointless because the rest of this routine really showed what a solid and reliable competitor she is maturing into.
And she's starting to make more and more finals. This year has shown that. Double finalist at the Mediterranean Games. She was a finalist on the uneven bars at the Austria World Cup. She made the vault final at the Gymnasiade. She's getting there. .899, the halfway mark score for Bengisu Yildiz. Youngest member of the Turkish team. One suspects the likes of Göksu Uçtaşan will be a steadying hand, an important influence for her in a big occasion like this. And if you're someone like Yildiz, you look at Uçtaşan, who's literally twice your age, and doubtless go, well, I've got a long way still to go in this sport. I've got a lot of competing left in me.
And we talk a lot about the accomplishments, medal-wise, of Göksu Uçtaşan, but one of the most important things that she has contributed to the Turkish women is the proof that you don't have to be a teenager to be phenomenal.
10.466 was the score for Yildiz. And we move now to Naomi Fisser on floor. The World Championships of 2021 were the moment when Naomi Fisser said voila to the world. This is the encore now from this exciting young gymnast. She's in that very interesting point in her career where she's still a very young gymnast, but she's also somehow a great veteran at the same time.
We might say that she is coming into her own. This was a great floor exercise. It was the tumbling, but it was also the turning elements that made this terrific. The first pass especially, where she sets herself apart, whip through to triple full, an immediate punch front. Well done.
Just a little hint of a smile as she safely navigated the addition of the punch front.
Oh, she knew that was good. And there, the double turn with leg at head, combined it with an illusion. That will get her difficulty points and connections as well. They have such a good way of designing their routines, the Dutch. They're very thoughtful, particularly on balance beam and floor exercise, and they often inject a component of artistry, of drama.
vaulting for the Latvian team. Anna Lochmele, the 18-year-old who's at her second European Championship. She was best on vault at the European Championships in Basel. Best, of her campaign. Bronze medalist at the National Championships earlier this year. Another of the Liepāja-based gymnasts, along with her teammate Daria Elbe. Performance of some significance. Will it be a score of some significance for Naomi Visser? Looks as though she is rather satisfied with the numeracy. It's 13.633. We continue with the Dutch team on floor. Shade van Oorschot. Shade van Oorschot of the Dutch team, a new member of the team in an international context. She made her senior international debut at the Varna World Challenge Cup in May. She was a member of the squad at the Junior European Championships in Glasgow in 2018.
Like you say, one of the new seniors that is getting integrated into the heart of the Dutch program. She has a style all her own. This first tumbling pass was especially good. This actually not the first tumbling pass, but the first tumbling pass was especially good. A whip through to triple full, the same thing that we saw from Naomi Visser, minus the punch front at the end. That was her second pass, 1.5 through to tucked front somersault. And this is what she chose to end with. Double tuck, nice landing position, just a tiny step. Successful routine.
And it's a big team to come into and to hold your own in. It's a team with great aspirations, real hopes in the Olympiahalle. You're watching team qualification and the all-around final as well, but we're not going to know for another 7 or so hours who it is that's the all-around champion here in Munich. Lovely space as well, the Olympic Park. This vast, imposing building. Somehow they've managed to make it such a green space that you don't even notice that this giant gymnastics venue is here. 12.566 for van Oorschot. Maybe actually really that's just more my sense of direction that I didn't notice where the enormous 8,000 or so seater gymnastics venue was. but it really is a lovely, well-appointed space, the Olympic Park in Munich. We move to Turkey, competing on the balance beam. It is Sevgi Kaysolu, 16-year-old from Bolu.
Unfortunately, a problem right off the bat, having to grab the beam to avoid a fall on her punch front mount. That is likely to incur a pretty significant deduction. Did a nice job to save that triple series as well. Back handspring, layout, step out. Much better. Of course, with the execution score, 10 is the optimum that you can attain. The judges start at 10, and every wobble, every unpointed toe, every fall, they do take something away from that. That fall will cost her a full mark, 1.0.
Sevgi Kaysolu of Turkey, a gymnast who is developing international experience. She competed at the Mediterranean Games in Algeria earlier this summer. She also competed at the Gymnasiad. She made the balance beam final there. So we are seeing a developing prospect again for the Turkish team.
And once again, we see the potential. It's evident. She's got great flexibility, lovely toe point. There's a polish to her work. And yes, this is a routine that she might want to forget, but it's not indicative of what she's capable of as a gymnast.
She's from the fascinating settlement of Bolu, on the old highway that connected Istanbul and Ankara. In years gone by, it's now rather bypassed by a more functional mountain tunnel. But it was one of those important strategic cities in between two of the big settlements of Turkey. Turkish team largely comprised of very young athletes. But all of these competitions, and for Turkey the Islamic Solidarity Games is also on the horizon, they're all great opportunities to gain more big competition experience, to get used to qualification routines. That's why we reference these competitions a great deal, the likes of the Mediterranean Games, the Gymnasiad. 10.766 is the score for Sevgi Kaysolu. Places her 13th on that apparatus. Still Malewski leading the way, no great surprise. It was a fine score. Now Germany will be competing on vault. This will be for the German team a very important rotation in terms of their overall team prospects. This is the second half of the third rotation. Latvia, the gymnasts who have just finished on vault. Their top performer was Olyenova, 12.016. Should just mention Slovakia, bring them in briefly. Barbara Mokashova scored a 13.233 on the uneven bars. Very much her signature piece, European Championship medalist. And for the Dutch, the 13.633 for Naomi Visser on floor. A very important number for them. Turkey, something of a tricky time on balance beam. The top score for them was the experienced Göksu Çtaşan with 11.866. Now it is Nika Kukulian-Fleta of Croatia on floor. Croatia's Nika Kukulian-Fleta, silver medalist on floor at the National Championships earlier this year. Gymnast from Rijeka, the largest port in Croatia. Young athletes.
It's very nice to see this emerging Croatian generation stepping up. Solid start for her with the double tuck. She does put 1 foot out of bounds. Put 1 foot out of bounds on floor, that will cost you 1/10 of a point. Put both feet out of bounds, 3/10 of a point. And that's what happens to her at the end of the routine. Gutsy finish to that though, going for the front double full twist when she's tired at the end of that 70 to 90 seconds.
Yasmin Mader of Austria on the balance beam. 5 times she's competed at the European Championships. She actually used to have a balance beam at home because the family did gymnastics and started walking on it when she was 3 years old. She's barely left it since.
She's a competitor with a reputation for being very solid, delivering secure routines for the team, and that's what we are seeing so far here. You see, she almost breathed a little sigh of relief after getting that full turn with leg at horizontal out of the way. Really pacing herself through this routine, being very deliberate.
Yasmin Mader of Austria, composed performance on the balance beam. She is a very skilled inline skater, Mader, and one often sees, you sometimes have it with gymnasts who are particularly good snowboarders, for example, there's a certain understanding, isn't there, of balance and how to rectify things. All the inline skaters are blessed with that. Ones that aren't don't do it very much, like me when I was a child. Veteran of national championships, she's been on the podium so many times, including a silver for the balance beam performance at the national championships last year. .399 at the halfway mark for Yasmin Mader.
Yes, no surprise to see her deliver a routine like that. It's what she's done for years.
10.833 is the score on floor for Nika Kukulian-Freleta. Now just waiting on the number 4, Mader. It's going to be with us in just a moment. The 3 dots indicating that the judging process is... I was about to say the judging process is being completed, but Yasmin Mader deservedly taking a moment in the spotlight.
And just in case there is any question about where she's from, she needs only to turn around and you will know.
11.866 is her number on balance beam. I'll give you an update on how things are in just a short while, but we now go to Ellie Seitz on vault.
Very nice Yurchenko full. She is capable of a double twisting Yurchenko, and we wondered if we might see that here. She has gone with the option that she feels is better for her. Lower difficulty, but very, very solid. The hop on the landing will cost her perhaps 0.3 of a point in execution, but other than that, a very nice vault, nice beginning for Germany on this apparatus.
The score 13.1. We'll be seeing Ellie Seitz on the uneven bars, one imagines, in the final rotation. Certainly all the crowds will be staring at her as she performs on one of her signature pieces. Germany continuing on vault. Sarah Voss, the reigning national champion, both in all-around and vault competition, was just a couple of months ago the Olympian from Tokyo.
Just like we just saw from Elizabeth Seitz, very clean Yurchenko full. Some people wonder how you judge vault. It all happens so fast. Well, actually, there are 3 phases to every vault. There's the pre-flight, which is what happens before your hands touch the table. There's the repulsion phase, which is what happens as your hands touch the table, and what they call the post or second flight, which is everything that happens afterwards.
And what happens after that is a score of 13.433 for Sarah Voss. And again, we'll give you some of the state of play in the all-round competition once we've reached the conclusion of this rotation. But lots of gymnastics still to bring you in this first subdivision. Croatia competing on floor. Seven teams in this first subdivision. We can say at this point that after 3 performances, Naomi Fisser is the top performer in the all-around so far. We'll come back to that after we watch Sara Šukelić of Croatia. Second European Championships for her. You may remember her as a medalist from the Junior European Championships in Turkey in 2020. Sara Šukelić from Croatia, young gymnast from Zagreb, who is best known for her work on the uneven bars, where she won a silver medal at the Junior European Championships in 2020. As you said, Blythe, it's great to see this new generation coming through, isn't it?
It is, and they look very capable. For Sara Šukelić, really good technique. You can tell that she's had good training. And there's a steadiness to her, too. It was very impressive that she didn't give away too much in terms of form, especially on the landings, where judges are very eager often to take deductions. And more than that, there was a nice component of storytelling in this floor routine. She pays as much attention to the choreography as she does to all of the acrobatic elements.
Sara Šukelić taking the uneven bars national championship in June in Osijek. So we're now on the balance beam. Having a look at Karina Kroh.
Munich 2022, das ist der Hashtag, der uns alle verbindet jetzt die nächsten Tage.
This is one of her best events.
11,433 Punkte.
Very secure in the back handspring layout step out. Switch leap to Sissone, completing a requirement for gymnasts on the balance beam. They must do at least 2 leaps or jumps connected. Oh my. And a round off 1.5 twist dismount. Well, good for her. She could have come off very easily on the one element that gave her problems. She did not let it happen.
And that is why she's the national champion on the balance beam. A medalist at the Cottbus World Cup back in 2016. Yes, now she is competing for Austria, I should say, the land of her father, but a much-loved member of the German national team before that. Karina Krüll, representing with great pride the Austrian national team. Her score is 12.033. She's one of the gymnasts who's going for all-around qualification. She said she's not ready to give up just yet on the Olympic dream. And why would she, when she's clearly capable of such high-quality gymnastics? They're in buoyant mood, aren't they, the Austrian team at the moment? Now we are about to move round for the final time as the score of 11.433 comes in for Sara Šukalic. And this is what I can tell you. Naomi Visser of Netherlands, the top performer after 3 pieces. She has a gap of just over a mark on Emma Malewski of Germany. Well done to her, good campaign. Malewski herself is around a couple of tenths ahead of her teammate Kim Bui, and then it's Vera van Poel of Netherlands in 4th position. Sarah Vos of Germany 5th, but there's a long way still to go. That's your top 5 as things currently stand. And in the team competition so far, it is Germany performing most strongly. So we move, therefore, onto the final rotation for all of these gymnasts. Latvia to the uneven bars, having begun their competition with a tricky period of action on the balance beam. We're going to be seeing the German team on the uneven bars with Ellie Seitz.
The uneven bars is a terrific event for Germany, and potentially one that they will be very pleased to cap this first day of competition on. They have the potential with Ellie Seitz, like you mentioned, Ollie, also with Kim Bui, to score very well.
Yes, interestingly, Kim Bui is actually the national champion on the uneven bars. Ellie Seitz, bronze medalist at the European Championships in 2017, 6 years after her all-around silver medal. The Dutch will be vaulting. So we're on to the final of the 4 rotations with 3 full subdivisions still to come. Hope you're having fun watching this and enjoying the first day of competition at the European Artistic Gymnastics Championships. A fine day to take off work and spend a long time just watching all of your favourites performing. And so far, one of the standout performers definitely has been young Emma Malewski.
She has been so impressive all day. Started off on balance beam with a bang-on performance. Went to floor exercise, leading off the German team. Did basically the same thing. So she is somebody that 3 rotations in, having a breakout meet.
A slight sense of regrouping perhaps for Turkey after things weren't enormously enjoyable for them on the balance beam, but we have competing for Turkey in this particular rotation. Göksu Uçtaşan on floor, where she won the European silver medal in 2020.
She has a new routine for this year, and it is a delight to watch.
Now, Naomi Visser top performer in the all-around thus far, the only 40-plus score. And she will now conclude her all-around campaign, and she'll do so on vault, and then we'll wait a long, long time for others.
Really nice Yurchenko full twist there. That carries a difficulty score of 4.2. And with the Yurchenko vaults in this new code of points, every half twist you add, you go up 0.4 in difficulty. So a 1.5 is going to be worth 4.6 and a double 5.0. Today, she has opted to do just the Yurchenko full, and it seems like a smart move with the team final still to come.
Certainly, whatever number comes in here for Naomi Visser, she will be the gymnastic chase in the all-around competition for the remaining competitors.
Tremendous number on bars, the only 14 that we have seen today, 14.266, and she can hope for a bars final as well.
The next to vault will be Tisha Volleman. Just confirmed for you the score of 13.133 for Naomi Visser. Now to the 22-year-old from Eindhoven. Won her first World Cup medals at the beginning of the season in Germany. And she is a European Championship team bronze medalist from the first European Sports Championships, the multi-sport event in Glasgow in 2018. Obviously not the first European Gymnastics Championships, they've been going on and on for many a year. But they are integrated every 4 years into the overall European Championships.
Same vault, Yurchenko with the full twist. And once again, another clean, solid performance for the Netherlands. You can't argue with a hit routine. We will see teams to come that are going to have gymnasts attempting 1.5s or double fulls. However, there's no arguing with something that's going to get you a really nice execution score.
Well, it's one of your great axioms, isn't it, as a writer and broadcaster, there's more than one way to build a score.
There is, and each gymnast with their coaches has to decide how they want to do that. Do they want to take more risk, do more difficulty, and potentially reap that in difficulty score? And for the Netherlands on vault, the answer seems to be a resounding no, and it's working for them.
The score is 12.833. Just scrutinise some of those numbers in greater detail for the breakdown at large, because that came up as a 5.2 difficulty. I can tell you it was given as a 4.2 difficulty as expected, so apologies for the error there, but 12.833. Now, Anastasia Ananieva of Latvia.
This is very much her apparatus, showing some unusual front stalder work on the low bar to begin the routine. And that, of course, the fall, that will cost her a full mark. It's hard to tell quite what went wrong there. She could have easily done a giant, but was probably preparing to do something else and just didn't have the feeling, thought it wasn't quite right. And just a very simple dismount to end the routine, too.
It's a real shame for the national champion on this piece to have that problem earlier on. Nearly, but not quite for this youngster. Again, 16-year-old, one of two 16-year-olds in the Latvian team. This is very much the start of what one hopes will be a very successful journey for them as competitors. We will, as the day goes on, also take stock of apparatus qualification. It's a little early to start doing that, as the score of 8.633 is registered for Ananieva. The next subdivision will begin in around about 30 minutes time, so there won't be much of a break after the conclusion of the first. Probably have time to make yourself a cup of tea and a bit of toast, and that's about it, before we continue with more gymnastics from Munich 2022. Vera van Poel for the Dutch.
She's capable of greatness, and that was great.
Now there was the extra difficulty that you were talking about before, precious tenths.
Yes, indeed. This is the Yurchenko with 1.5 twists. So it's a blind landing. She doesn't see the mat before her feet hit it, but really she didn't need to with that. She was right where she needed to be. Unlike what we've seen from the Dutch so far, this carries a difficulty tariff of 4.6 compared to 4.2 for the Yurchenko fulls. This is going to get a nice score, both difficulty and execution-wise.
Yes, it was a lovely vault, wasn't it, from Vera van Poel? 13.566. Now, our attention shifts to the balance beam. And we're looking at Slovakia and Radoslava Kalamarova.
And we're looking at what is so far a very secure exercise. She's showing really good control of the free walkover elements. Nice side salmi there as well. Gymnasts on the balance beam have to change levels. They have to work low or down to the beam, as well as working standing up, demonstrating movements that go forward, sideways, backwards.
Slovakia's Radoslava Kalamarova, gymnast who has really set her sights actually on the World University Games that are coming up. She's very keen to be part of that. She's an undergraduate at Mate Bell University in Banska Bystrica. She owes the beginning of her gymnastics career to her godmother, who made the suggestion that she try the sport.
Dismount back tuck with a full twist out of a back handspring.
Strongest for her so far has been on vault, 11.533. Had some real difficulties on the uneven bars, but as I'm sure you can see, the left knee still is protected. She had a really serious injury at the Grand Prix in Sombate in 2021, so if nothing else, just simply her mere presence at this competition is a triumph of her perseverance in rehabilitating herself. And I think it's been evident from Kalamarova throughout the competition that for her, the way she's enjoying being here, the great triumph has been simply making it to this stage when injury suggested she would struggle to do so. 11.066 is her score. There is your leader at the moment, Naomi Visser of Netherlands. We're looking down the rest of the order. Second place is Vera van Poel. Bilge Tarhan will be competing on the floor for Turkey. Bronze medalist at national championship level on this piece. A third European Championships for Bilge Tarhan, who was part of the Turkish team that made it to the final in Mersin in 2020.
She has worked very hard to upgrade her tumbling passes, opening up with a double layout, closing with a double pike. Unfortunately, of course, it didn't work today for her, but well done to her for trying to get that extra difficulty.
Sondern natürlich auch schon bei diversen Olympischen Spielen. Auf jeden Fall immer im Finale dabei. Also hier wird sie ihren Vorteil.
We have a score of 13.133 for Naomi Visser, just being confirmed from earlier on. Places her impressively at the top of the standings at the moment in the all-around competition. Meanwhile, we wait for the number to come in for Bilge Tarhan. It is 9.733. Gymnast who comes from a very fine family in the sport. Her brother Bora competes as well in artistic gymnastics. And those of you who watch the Mediterranean Games, you'll know her very well from having made the vault final there. Vault's certainly something that she really is very well known for at a domestic level and indeed in the Mediterranean region at large. All of that brings us to the final portion of this last rotation as Germany prepare to perform on the uneven bars, and they've got some tricks up their sleeve here.
Oh, they certainly do. This has been Germany's best apparatus for about the last 10 years, and we will shortly be able to see why. As we look at Kim Bui taking her warm-up, it's about connections of transitions and release skills. It's about really smooth swing. It's about difficulty, like that Bahardwaj, the full twisting pack salto that she just showed us. And it's about really good technique and elegant swing.
Ellie Seitz we'll come back to in a short while as we now look at the Austrian team competing on floor. And representing them once more, Karina Kroll. Karina Kroll from Austria, a gold medalist at the Copwood World Cup on floor in 2016, and she has a long history with these fans in this country performing in its great venues. She's so popular, and it is a joy that she's here, not just supported well by the Austrian fans but by the German fans as well, who of course have such a great history with her.
One thing that is rather new at these European Championships, and we've seen it 2 or 3 times today, is the gymnast exhorting the crowd to applaud for them. Gymnasts have a reputation, especially at the elite level, for being quite stoic, and they're not. And this is something different and new and interesting to see, and it's well deserved. They should be cheered for.
Absolutely right. We must show our great enjoyment for this wonderful sport for these gymnasts who are thoroughly embracing the opportunity to perform in a huge venue like the Olympiahalle. Now to a real standout performer so far. Let's see what happens for the competitor from Germany in this routine, Emma Malewski.
Well, it's been great on balance beam, very, very good on floor exercise, and so far so good on the uneven bars. Small leg separation on the blind change before the double front, but that was well done.
That is a really strong display overall from Emma Malewski of Germany. A gymnast who has shown herself to really belong in this German team, a team that we will likely see more of as the competition continues.
She has the double front dismount, very hard because, again, it's a blind landing. Gymnast doesn't see the mat before she lands, but she handled that just as she has handled everything that she has done today successfully.
The score 13.1 for Emma Malewski. 8.2 score for the execution. Well, we have some young competitors who are new to the international stage, and we have some hugely experienced ones who are real experts on particular pieces. We couldn't miss the chance to see Tijana Korent of Croatia. Fifth European Championship.
Very strong vaulter, and this something that has served her very well for years and years. Handspring front tuck with a full twist. It's a very intricate piece of vaulting. the tuck and the twist. One flip, one twist before she finds the ground. Well controlled.
First ever gymnast from Croatia to qualify for a European Championship vault final. That was in 2013.
And she will vault again. She is wanting to make the apparatus final on vault. And this will see something completely different, most likely with a round-off entry. If I had to hazard a guess, it will be either the Yurchenko full or the Yurchenko 1.5.
12.733 for Tiana Corinth for the first vault. That's the one that will count for the team. Now this for herself.
Yes, indeed, Yurchenko full. And like some of the others that we have already seen this morning, she seemed to be a little conservative. She is capable of the 1.5, but there's no reason to present it right now. Save it for the final. Do something clean. Get yourself a really nice execution score and walk into the final that way.
Certainly the goal for Tiana Corinth. It would be her third European Championship vault final if she can do it. A 33-year-old, one of the veteran vaulters of the world. The score is 12.9 for a 12.816 average. We'll look more at the vault standings later. Now we go to Kim Bui on the uneven bars.
And if this goes like her warm-up did, it is going to be stupendous. She has such a smooth swing, and she has so much difficulty to boot. Bahardwaj, the Van Leuven transition, really nice. Toe Stalderful into a Ginger and right up on top of the bar and handstand in that simple half turn. Dismount, full twisting double tuck.
Well, that's a belter. Kim Bui with a marvelous display on the uneven bars.
That is vintage Kim Bui. Her only European medal is on this event, and it's from 11 years ago when she won bronze in Berlin. What about something in Munich?
Well, this was a splendid performance. 14.2 for Kim Bui. That is the second best score we've seen on the uneven bars so far. But for how much longer? Because here is Ellie Seitz, her teammate, 28-year-old, a brilliant performer on this apparatus. World Championship medalist, European Championship medalist.
Upright Stalder Kachev. Terrific Jaeger. The Church. Toe to Kachev piked into the Pack Salto, getting herself some bonus. The Van Leuven. Toe full. And full twisting double tuck.
Well, you said, Blythe, that Germany would be expecting to do great things on the uneven bars. They have done great things on the uneven bars. Capped off by the veterans, Kim Bui and Ellie Seitz. Do you know there's a really fine atmosphere, isn't there, today in the Olympiahalle?
Oh, yes. Fantastic work from Ellie Seitz. The sort of thing that we have come to expect from her. Look at the body position on this full twisting double tuck. She keeps her legs glued together, her toes pointed, and you cannot ask for much more than a landing like that.
Other gymnasts from the Dutch team coming over to offer their congratulations in the true spirit of this sport, which is conducted by its athletes with great integrity, with great fellowship, with great respect. They know a great performer when they see one. The score is 14.2, exactly the same as Kim Bui. Naomi Visser just ahead at the top, but it's getting very interesting now when it comes to the state of play with the uneven bars. The picture may be starting to become clearer in places. Austria yet to conclude their competition. They still have performances remaining on floor. We will look at Yasmin Mader, a gymnast who won her first ever World Cup medal on the floor in 2014. It was a silver medal in Anadia in Portugal. Just before the summer really gathered pace, the Austrian team went to the beautiful Balearic island of Mallorca for a training camp. A combination of refreshment, a change of climate and a chance to train as a group together. A lovely place to go and do that as well. Fabulous island off the coast of mainland Spain. Yasmin Mader. Barbara Pravi's wonderful chanson, Voila, from the Eurovision Song Contest a couple of years ago. Very much one of the pieces of music of the moment in gymnastics, and performed by the experienced Yasmin Mader of Austria. Short journey for them to come to watch this competition.
Began with a 1.5 twist through to front layout, cast the front layout too far forward, and will unfortunately take a deduction of 0.3 of a point for putting both feet out of bounds. Otherwise, this was very solid work from Yasmin Mader. Here's the double tuck, good landing.
Competition concluded for Austria, and indeed for all of the teams in this first subdivision, first of 4. And we'll tell you the standings in just a moment when we get these last numbers in. There it is, 12.433 for Yasmin Mada, the 10th strongest performance we've seen on floor. And we can tell you then that Germany are the pace setters in the team qualification process. 3.5 marks or thereabouts ahead of the Dutch. In the all-around qualification, well, it's just the Dutch all the way. Naomi Visser ahead of Vera van Poel. Correction on that. Apologies, my graphic was telling me something slightly different. It's Naomi Visser ahead of Kim Bui and Emma Malewski in 3rd place. Van Poel in 4th position. And Sarah Vos rounding up the top 5. As we would expect, the Dutch and the Germans really controlling things at the moment in the all-around competition. This, remember, is the final. The team is just qualification. And we have just a short break now until the next subdivision begins.